Here we go. World Tour Masters.
Two more are waiting for their chance to prove themselves worthy of a place in the final. One, the current U.S. Open champion. Another, a former English 8-ball world champion. The USA's Shane Van Boening against England's Chris Melling. The opening semifinal saw a former champion, Karol Swiderski, up against Mosconi Cup star Nikos Economopoulos. The break has consistently proved to be the defining characteristic of this year's tournament. The man who masters that the quickest goes on to win, and so it proved in this semifinal. Economopoulos raced into a 6-rack lead before the man from Poland could respond. The response was too little, too late. 8-3 the winning score, and a first-ever appearance for Economopoulos in a Masters final. As to who he will play, that issue will be decided when Shane Van Boening and Chris Melling face each other in the second semi. In his opening 2 matches, the U.S. Open champion has made explosive starts. Racing into a commanding lead, his opponents left trailing in his wake. It's a tactic built around mastering the break.
Yeah, I mean, I'm breaking the same thing when I did in the U.S. Open a few weeks ago. Just breaking in the box and try to make the one inside. A lot of people are not making balls on the break because they're breaking from the rail. So I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. Chris is a great player. He's the straightest shooter on the tour, I would say. But you know, it all comes down to the break. So that's what I'm thinking about. Just you know, never worry about who you play, and just focus on the break.
Chris Melling has faced 2 tough opponents in this tournament, Denis Orculio and Carl Boys, and now it's the U.S. Open champion.
Yeah, obviously Shane's one of the best players in the world, certainly the best player in America. You don't win 3 US Opens back-to-back unless you're one of the best in the world, that's for sure. But I'm playing well, and he's going to have to play well to beat me. You've basically got to keep him in the seat, because it doesn't matter how good anybody is. If they're not at the table, they can't win. The last 2 US Opens that I've played in, Shane's an expert on knowing how to rack the balls, so if I knew how to do that, which I don't, I could have beat him, but when we've actually had a referee racking the balls, I've beat him every time.
An American against an Englishman. Well, I'm entirely neutral. I don't know about you, Ted.
You sure about that, Phil? So Shane Van Boening wins the lag. In Chris Melling's quarterfinal match against fellow Englishman Carl Boys, his break shot was just miserable. And Shane was breaking the balls excellent, and he starts off right here with a really good break.
Yes, Van Boning's break in this tournament has been second best out of all of the players. For me, the shining light in terms of that department of the game has been Nikos Economopoulos, who awaits the winner of this one in the final. And in both of his matches so far, Van Boening has been off to a lightning fast start. 7-1 up on James Georgiadis. And then against Mark Gray, he led 6-0.
Yes, and in both of those matches, he allowed his opponent back into the match, especially Georgiadis. Shane very easily could have lost that match, but he held on, limped across the finish line, held off a fight back from Mark Gray, starting out really well here against Chris Melling. The thing with Chris, and he mentioned this to me in the practice room earlier, he felt he was hitting the balls on his break shot really well. Just nothing was going down for some reason. Now Shane comes up dry.
The one was heading towards the opposite side pocket, but it ran out of pace.
Yes, ideally it would be in the other pocket. That's the place where the one ball always travels to when you break from the left side of the table.
Push out call.
Well, Chris can't see the one, so he's going to push out. What a shot. And I think Chris Melling would give him a round of applause for that. That was very well played. And Phil, you know, it's one thing to hit a rail first shot when the ball, object ball's closer to the pocket. He ran that all the way down the rail.
And there's more imagination. Just the thin snick off the two to get the billiard on the 6. He's a shot maker.
Indeed.
It really is difficult to believe, given their place at the top table of the international sport, that the USA have only supplied one winner of the Party Poker World Tour Masters over the years. And that was 17 years ago, Earl Strickland.
Well, there's not that many top world players coming out of the USA these days. You have, I mean, it's not like Europe where you have literally dozens upon dozens of world-class players. You know, in Europe, there's a tour, and the players like to travel around the world. Shane is one of the few American players who enjoys traveling to the far corners of the globe to compete.
Yes, he enjoys it, and it's also because he's able to make it profitable. What a talent.
Well, this was a rack of his own making. Some clever shot making by Shane Van Boening, and he goes up 2-0. Very unusual. Shane breaking closer to the center of the table. He gets the 8 ball down.
And he doesn't have a shot on the 1.
That was really unlucky. Just watch this last little nudge on the cue ball here. Just as it makes contact with the 4 and with the spin it had on it as well, it nestles in behind the 7. Galling that for Van Boening, because it looked as though he was going to have a clear pot on the 1 with 2 and 3 open as well.
Melling with a safety. Oh, that was nicely done. Look at that. And the fans here in Nottingham, very knowledgeable here about pool, and they appreciate not just the offense but the defense like that. Being able to put that cue ball close to another ball and hide it.
Well, the city of Nottingham has got a cue sports heritage. They've produced 2 very good snooker professionals who still play on the main tour, Michael Holt and Anthony Hamilton. Now, given the connection of Nottingham to Robin Hood, he's got a great nickname, Anthony Hamilton, the Sheriff of Pottingham.
Fantastic. So how does Shane get out of this riddle? He doesn't. And that's where a good defense can be your best offense.
And even the little bonus there of 1 extra ball to pot because the 3 went in on the foul shot. Not the most straightforward of clearances, but you fancy Melling to do it.
Just before this 9-ball event, Party Poker Whirlpool Masters, Chris was in China playing a snooker event. He's got his tour card.
Extension call.
Yes, it was the International Championship. Very big world ranking points. Eventually won by Ricky Walden. Now this is really horrible queuing over the green 6.
And the reason that went in was because he hit that at pocket speed. If he would have hit that any harder, that would not have gone. So nice touch from Chris.
When he's potting balls, he looks quite often $1 million. And he's not allowing Van Boening to make that lightning fast start. It's been such a feature of his first 2 matches here. Van Boening 2, Melling 1.
Welcome back to the semifinal between Shane Van Boening and Chris Melling. The American took the opening 2 racks, but Melling struck back in the 3rd. In the 4th, Melling had the break and the perfect layout, which he converted to level the score. In the 5th, the break came up dry for the Englishman. The American stepped in and cleared to reclaim his 1-rack advantage.
There's the 1 in the side. But no shot on the 2.
That's the second time in the match something like this has happened. Virtually the last roll of the last rolling ball on the table has scuppered him. This time it's the 3.
Push out. Chris Melling decides to give it back. He's allowed to do that. Now Shane will have to take the shot.
Trouble.
Well, Chris has got the jump cue. Oh, he potted the 3. That's a world-class shot there. What a visual that is. Pure artistry.
Well, he's looking at the 2-9 combination.
He's okay with that, though. So now Shane Van Boening with the jump cue. And he pots another ball in the side.
Any kind of reasonably full contact there would have seen the 8 go in. Strange old rat, Ted.
Yeah, but to make a full contact off a jump, there's a bit of talent there. Nicely done.
And more than a bit of talent there. He really does see these super shots. Opens all kinds of doors for him. Look at this. 2 off the side cushion, off the top cushion, in goes the 9.
That is a highlight reel shot right there.
Rack 7. Van Boening to break, leading 4 racks to 2.
Nigel Rees announces the start of rack number 7. Van Boening halfway to victory.
Well, this time the 1 ball doesn't go, but he's got the 6 ball down. He's got an open shot on the 1. Might try to bank it or play for cover.
Is there room past the 8 ball? Looking at the overhead camera. Don't think there is. Always the use of side possible, even maybe a tiny jump. And with a one ball so close to the pocket, any kind of contact you would think would see it deposited.
And he's also looking at making sure he gets position on the 2. Well, he didn't have to worry about the angle, but look at that. This is some high quality stuff so far.
Well, the application of side there served 2 purposes. One, to pot the 1, and also to drop superbly on the 2.
And there you see him lining up a 3-7 combination. No, that did not work out. Or did it? He very nearly made that in the side.
The hand raised in apology because he knows that Van Boening can't pot the 3 to the middle. It's just past the pocket, so this is a little awkward. Just asking the referee, Nigel Rees, whether he still got his 30-second extension available in this rack, and the answer was yes, you have.
Shane getting down on that 3 like he wants to feather it in. He plays safe.
Big rack this. Chris Melling doesn't want to fall 3 behind. That's bad enough against anyone. Against someone of Shane Van Boening's class, it's a cause for worry.
Yeah, and Shane's playing very well. What a pot that is. These two are firing on all cylinders. Just in time for Chris Melling. This is at that point in the match, Phil. Yeah, this was a big rack because 5-3, 5-2, and 4-3, massive difference in a race to 8.
Yes, Melling within 1. He needed it. He answered.
Welcome back to Nottingham for the Whirlpool Masters. It's the semi-final between Van Boening and Melling. Just 1 rack separates these two as we pick up the action at the start of the 8th.
Well, he finally got a ball down. He got the 2 ball down. Will he have a shot on the 1? He does.
Yes, the 5 could be of use to Van Boening here. It means that Melling's position off the 1 to the 3 will need to be reasonably precise.
Oh, that is so unfortunate.
All of that side to keep the cue ball on this side of the table, for what I was saying before, to make sure he was going to be on the 3, but he just grazed the 5 and in at a very acute angle to the middle. Ted was right, it was cruel.
That's just one of those things. He certainly made a good effort. That when he passed the 5 ball, it just nudged the path of the cue, and that just so happened to be into the side pocket. That's got to be a big disappointment for Chris, because he is playing so much better in this match than he did against Carl Boys.
It's a real rarity when Shane Van Boening squanders a chance like this. Seven, 9 coming up.
Shane Van Boening gets one back. This was the shot right here. Nice pot. The cue ball gets nudged off its path by the 5. Drops into the pocket, ball in hand. Rack goes to SVB.
Rack 9, Van Boening to break, leading 5 racks to 3.
Shane Van Boening needs 3 more racks.
Oh, the 9 very nearly went in the side, but nothing down. Watch the 9 right there. That, I can't believe that didn't go.
Yes, a fraction away from our first golden break of the entire tournament.
Well, more fireworks. Chris has got the jump cue out. Then he's got to find position on the 2 if he can pot this 1. That he does. But no position. So it looks like he'll have to kick at this.
Just on a quick calculation there, Ted, I think this is the 168th rack of the tournament, and we haven't had a golden break yet.
Well, it's only in the last few matches that we've started to see that 9-ball move a little bit. First few matches, the 9-ball would just stick right in its on the spot where they place it when they do the rack, but maybe one will come soon. Oh no, he could see part of that and just leave some distance. Is Chris going to get a chance? Well, it appears so. Tough, long cut shot on the 2. Issue, 3 balls out there, but 4 and 5 ball are glued together. Well, he's got to make it first. And he's left this on.
Smattering of applause.
You can see him, Phil, looking at the 4 and 5 to see whether the 4 passes. Perhaps it does, because he didn't do anything about trying to break it up. It must pass. Yep.
And this puts the key in the door to this rack.
Well, Melling had his chance there. It was a tough one on that 2-ball, and he failed to convert. Shane's not going to let him off the hook after that mistake. Look at the way Shane Van Boning's moving around the table now, much like Chris Melling when he's on fire.
For the first time in the match, Shane Van Boning has 3 clear racks between himself and Chris Melling. The scoreline, 6-3.
Welcome back to the World Pool Masters and the semifinal between Shane Van Boning and Chris Melling. The American leading 6-3.
Was that the 9? Yes, it was. The 9-ball goes. We said it just a few minutes ago that sooner or later it was going to happen. And the cue ball kicks in the 9.
Well, in cue sports, if you're a little lucky, they say in England, you're golden. He was there, had a golden break. How about that? And how timely as well. Poor old Chris Melling must be crushed.
Should he take this rack, he's still got some business to take care of, and that would be Nikos Economopoulos.
This time, not so fortunate with the break. Okay, the 1 goes in, but yes, he's on the 2. But cue ball very close to it and on the cushion also. Prudent.
You got to love the fans here in Nottingham. Obviously partisan towards their very own Chris Melling, but they appreciate good pool.
Well said, Ted. I think the crowd here have been one of the stars of the show.
Tried to pot that, and he got away with it.
Not just safe, Shane snookered.
Did you notice something? That Shane sort of didn't really take his time. That's just what he did when he had a big lead in his first 2 matches, and both his opponents started comebacks just about that time. So perhaps Shane, maybe a slight flaw in his game where when he has these big leads, he tends to maybe lose his concentration a bit.
Yes, and I think he was a little peeved there with the fortune that Melling had received. Not the pinpoint position for the 6 we expect from Chris Melling.
Not at all. So he has to give up the table, but he does it in a nice way.
ball in hand. Surely 7-4.
Chris and Shane have a little laugh there as Chris makes his way to the table. Good to see the sportsmanship. Can Chris Melling string some racks together and get back into this match? He's certainly capable. 7-4.
And as if on cue, there you go, Ted.
And what's worse for Chris? He has left an open shot on the one. He just can't seem to get it together with the break shot. And it's cost him. We just have to keep repeating it. It's the most important shot in pool, the break shot. If you don't have it going your way, you can win. But more often than not, you're going to lose. Well.
Well, he cued that so badly. That will be a source of concern for him and a real source of encouragement for Melling. Cued right across it. History just continues to repeat itself. Van Boening gets himself into winning positions and then makes his life difficult.
Well, that was a nice pot there. Coming off the rail. Exactly, Phil. Just when he's at the moment of just crossing that finish line, he gets tripped up. He seems to lose his concentration.
Extension call.
Well, he can see an edge of the 4-ball, but he can't see enough of it to pot it.
He didn't hesitate on that safety. Nicely done.
Extension call.
Well, this is going to be left on, Phil. Another big chance for Melling. One shot at a time. Clears these colors. He's got to figure the percentages are that if he keeps standing up there at that break shot, one of these times he's going to get something really good. Close. But he's still shooting.
When Shane Van Boening enjoyed his golden break to lead 7-3, you thought Chris Melling might not be able to get back into it. He's doing his level best. The deficit now only 7-5.
It's just a race to 8, and the winner will move into the finals here at the Party Poker World Pool Masters. Again, he does not get anything on the 1 nor any other ball. Massive frustration.
He likes to attack Van Boening. Will he be tempted with the possible bank? Plenty of balls to hide behind if he chooses to be conservative and play the containing game. Yes, and percentage pool in these circumstances, the right way to go. Look at that. What a horrible snooker to try and escape from. Melling says help. I think one of his problems here is the fact that he knows if he were to fail to escape, or indeed leave the 1 ball on, look at the table, wide open.
He could foul. If he wants to, he could. If he knows he's going to foul, he could foul into a, push another ball and just create a cluster. But he's going to go for it. He's going to try to hit this 1. No. That is ball in hand for Shane Van Boening.
Start the clock.
Well, in the previous rack, he missed the 2 ball. The potential run out there wasn't as straightforward as this. Nowhere near.
Is Shane Van Boening on the verge of winning his first big international individual title? Well, he's first got to clear these balls off, and then he'll move into the finals, where he'll take on Nick Economopoulos. He's got to get through this first, though.
Yes, he has won in England before, but as Ted pointed out, it wasn't an individual major. It was the World Cup of Pool in partnership with Rodney Morris. Funnily enough, they beat England in the final. I'll check that and say he has won in Europe before in terms of a big victory, but individually he craves a title of this prestige.
Well, if Shane can go on to win this event, you just know that with that monkey off his shoulders, that could be the floodgates open for more big victories on the international scene.
And as for the post-mortem on Chris Melling, well, he fought hard, gave it a really good go, but the ineffective break was just too much of a handicap to overcome. It's America against Greece in the final of the Party Poker World Pool Masters. It's Nikos Economopoulos up against our latest winner here, Shane Van Boening, who beats Chris Melling by a score of 8-5.
I'm playing good, I'm feeling good, and I'm really honored to be in the finals of the World Pool Masters.
Another impressive performance from the U.S. Open champion, who will now contest the Masters final against Nikos Economopoulos. For Van Boening, it is an opportunity to claim his first major singles title outside of the USA. Despite an impressive series of domestic wins, Van Boening is still searching for his first major win overseas. The final of the Party Poker Whirlpool Masters, the perfect stage for Van Boening and Economopoulos.